Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi live noding. In this episode, we're gonna kind of extend the previous live noding where we make like a pyramid setup. This is another alternative how you can generate something like a pyramid or kind of like the base of a like a stupa temple or chandi, whatever. But this is a kind of like a nice little trick. I started with the cylinder, but I end up with something like this, and this is actually pretty much how Spreadshow can be really powerful. I'll show you a quick demo here. I can change the subdivision, for example, and then I can change the height, the base height, and I can kind of also change the size of the stepping, and I could actually switch to another mode where I can have this more random kind of design. And yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here. You probably already know how to do this if you watch my older live noding video, but still it's kind of still pretty interesting. So yeah, I'll break down the setup, how I create this. I'm not gonna do it from scratch because there's some kind of some kind of calculation here, a little bit of thinking that can be confusing if you start from scratch. But anyway, I managed to get here by trial and error. Okay, like I said, this is starting. This actually is a cylinder. If I kind of make it, if I simplify the whole thing, kind of make a radius top and bottom the same, and I'm extrude the height. This is actually a cylinder, right? If I get rid of the height, and if I didn't extrude at all, so this is basically a cylinder. This is how I started. If the cylinder have the same radius on top and bottom, of course you get like normal radius, like a normal cylinder. If you make it smaller on the top, you get something like a cone. And if you get rid of the height totally, you get like a spider web kind of design. It's almost like a ring in Spreadshow. You don't need the caps. The caps actually give the cap on the top and the bottom. I just turn it off and you get something like this, and the rest is actually quite self-explanatory. If you are using extrude separate and you're extruding the cylinder and then separate it, you get something like this. Of course, it's just a simple basic extrusion, and you're controlling the height. This is probably looking like a chocolate stick, except that it's rounded like a donut. We're not gonna mess with the scale with this, but however with the height we can randomize the height, and to randomize the height we can use something like random number generator. We simply get the least length, the total length, total number of the polygon face, plug into the size of random number, and as a result, of course, you can have a value between whatever value you put in here. So if I plug that into the height, we get this. It's really that easy. The rest, the other one, actually it looks slightly more complicated because of this numbering, like range, float, list repeater, list, delete, level, join. This thing is slightly confusing, but it's a very powerful node in Spreadshow, enabling you to do a lot of interesting splitting of data and then repeating of data. So instead of random number, basically here I'm kind of calculating the number of polygon face. So if I get rid of the height now, if you look at this guy, for example, let's simplify this to 6 or 5. Okay, 5. We have 5 side polygon here, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 layers, and 5 and 4 layers. That's that means we need to repeat the number 5 times. The division is actually says 3 here. Well, basically what happening here, we have five-sided polygon, and I'm using range float. That's kind of plug into this guy. I might actually do this the wrong way. Let me double check. So we have a lot of value here. I think I'm probably doing it the wrong way. This should be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 values for the 4 level of this guy times 5. 5 is coming from this guy. So 4 is coming from the subdivision actually. So this is 3 and this is math. So I make a modification on the fly now. I think this goes in there, this goes in the subdivision, this should be the count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's simplify the number here. From 20 to 60 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 numbers. Okay, so for each stepping we're gonna extrude the height based on this value. From this 4 value we repeat it 4 times, and then we need to use this list delete level and list joining to get this result. I'll show you. So 20, 20, 20, 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is for the first polygon face there, and the second one, and so on and so on. So that should actually work if we plug it into the height and switch to this guy. Okay, that seems to work a lot better. That's perfect. That's the height, the minimum and the maximum height. So we can make the base really short, make the base a bit high, and kind of make this a bit shorter. It's a bit like a cake actually, maybe like a birthday cake or like a wedding cake. This is very interesting, and you can of course keep adjusting the value, the parameters here, make it like how many levels, 4, 5. So this is maybe 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually 6, making it 7 kind of level. And if you want to make like a pyramid, perhaps you just zero out the first one, so it's becoming something like a pyramid like this. Okay, there you go. That's another procedural way you can set up using sphere chalk. The cylinder is actually by default, it's looking like this. It's almost like diagonal. Maybe if you want to rotate it, you can simply use a rotate ruler, rotate it in the z-axis 45 degree, and then you have a more like a typical pyramid aligned to the axis. Maybe instead of pink color, have like, I don't know, it's a matter of preference. Well, anyway, but I kind of like the fact that we can adjust all this: radius top, radius bottom. Maybe if you want to have like a pyramid, like Inca kind of pyramid, you want to have stair down here. I don't know how we can open that up. Maybe we need like a different kind of design. But this is yeah, this is this is just like a game of playing with numbers basically. Range float is very powerful, and the way that we can list repeat and delete level and list join is also quite interesting. Maybe I should actually show you what's happening here. So by default we have a bunch of number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. In this case, 7 for 7 level, and we need to repeat the numbers. So we use list repeater, but if we just use list repeater, we are repeating the list like that. So there's like a bracket there. So we don't want the bracket, so we delete the level, and then we join it back. So in SquareChalk, this double bracket and then the values, list of value is a very important kind of structure, list structure, data structure in SquareChalk. So anyway, this scaling not so useful. If you like, you can definitely turn this into a monad, turn all these nodes into a single monad, and you can then do like, you can make a multiple pyramids, like a small one, big ones, and one's a bit higher, one's, you know, have more division, things like that. This is more like the pentagon, I think. I think the Apple Park is looking something like that. It's actually almost like circular. Yes, something like that. But a lot of possibilities here, definitely, and you can you can also reverse this guy, you know, make this a little bit high and this one's a bit lower, so you have totally a different structure, and you can make this smaller, so you have almost like a structure in Rome, I guess. People can see it around it. You can even print it out, I guess. Okay, well, that's pretty much it for this live loading. Hopefully you find this useful. Let me know what you think and ask me any question in the comment section below. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.